an artist. I work and live in Manchester. I also volunteer here at the Castlefield Gallery. And here I'm going to talk to you about the current exhibition, which is Hilary Jack's solo exhibition here. It's her first solo exhibition in the UK. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the works over here and a little bit about her practice. So here I've sort of stood amongst a piece called In the Beginning. So it's a sort of collection of pieces, and they're sort of like found objects, like found figurines and found pieces of like trees. And what she does is she sort of like collects these pieces or memorabilia or like figurines from like charity shops and eBay. And what I like about the project is that it's sort of like related to how things are like discarded, like things being kind of pushed to one side or falling apart, and then people kind of get rid of them. And what she does is she takes these and she creates these sort of absurd and nonsensical pieces of artwork. So she transforms them into something completely new and also gives them a whole new story. So it's not just about the value of what she's doing in terms of the art value, like she's taking something and creating it into something much more in sort of an emotional way. Because what you kind of see here is, and what I think you kind of get a sense of, is that, you know, these pieces of things that you kind of see that, you know, have fallen to disrepair, you know, the trees included, are kind of like piece of things that people once loved, basically. So people, you know, they were cherished, and what she's doing is sort of taking them and then changing them and repairing them, but creating something new, and then giving them another reason to be cherished, but in her weird, quirky, kind of absurd sort of way. So as you can sort of see, she's created this figurine of a woman, and like her hair's turned into a tree that's blowing in the wind, windswept, and, you know, with these, like, you know, they're kind of like almost weird characters, or they become something slightly odd, and they have like a story to them, because, you know, there's like a mystical sense, and there's like a sort of sense of fantasy, and what you can also see, if you see the mirrors on the bottom, these kind of represent or a symbol of maybe the past. So looking back into a mirror, looking back into the past. But also, what I liked about it is, like, when you're, you know, like if you think about Alice in Wonderland, or jumping in through a hole, or a rabbit hole, or maybe like reading stories where you jumped into a puddle and you sort of are taken into a whole new world. There's that element that you're kind of, like, if you kind of see into these mirrors, and there might be like an alternate existence in them, like an alternate realm. We're looking at the piece called Hybrid, which is definitely my most favourite piece in the whole exhibition. The reason why I like it kind of reflects Hilary Jack's humour again, but also it kind of makes use of the whole space of the exhibition, the whole sort of gallery space, and it's really impressive to see how this tree's sort of arrived here, because it's really delicate. But also, if you kind of look further down, you'll see that it's been turned. So it's like a tree with a table leg or an ornamental chair leg. The person who turned it is called Sarah Thirlwell, and she's a wood turner. And what I also like about this piece is Hilary Jack's kind of made, you know, she's kind of sort of credited this person who's kind of created this piece with her. I think that's really nice, because she's sort of like kind of saying, or sort of crediting the person, because she's not kind of giving it like a, well, she's sort of like representing the fact that she's not doing it, she's going back to a tradition that she couldn't possibly have done. So, you know, hand carving or turning and all these sort of craft and traditional elements, you know, these aren't Hilary Jack's own sort of practices, and she's sort of looked to someone to help her create this piece of work. So I think that's really nice. Here a piece of work that's situated in the gallery. It's called Souvenir. What it is can't kind of see it, but it's a hole that sort of you can feel looking through the hole. So looking through the sort of viewing utensil, like tunnel, you kind of see some found slides, which he sort of collected, or Hilary Jack sort of collected over the years. What I really like about this piece is that it's really subtle, so you have to come into the gallery and you're not quite aware what you're looking at when you sort of see it. It could just be anything on the wall, but when you kind of look into it, you're there, as with all the other works, like sort of transported to a whole new place which has no context. So it's completely borderless in some respects. Like, you know, you don't know where these photos are taken, you don't know who they belong to, and you know, they could be somewhere you've been or somewhere you think you've been. There's that element that you kind of recognise something in everything that you see, because these are all like our own memories. Like, you know, when you see, like, go through photographs and you kind of see, oh, this could be somewhere I've been on a holiday, and I could see all these pieces as well. So there's something sort of quite like, you kind of feel quite attached to it, and you kind of want to see into it, and there's like different kind of elements to the piece that make it really interactive. Obviously you have to be here to kind of see the work, and it's site specific, which makes it kind of like tell a story in the gallery with all the other works. I think this is a really nice piece. It's really subtle, and it's really quite, yeah, it's just really nice.